So here we want to create a IK FK control rig for our arm. So just for a moment I will hide my joint of the finger. Okay, generally what we will want to achieve to have better deformation with our arm is to have a straight angle from the shoulder joint to the wrist joint. So from the front view of your character, what you can do is to create an EP linear curve from the shoulder. I will use snap on point to create a straight line. So now we can see then my two joints here in the middle are off. So what I will do is try to realign them. So I will use the snap on curve tool and try to move only the axis. Here is the y-axis, so snap it right on the curve. Do the same thing for the other joint. So now I'm sure I'm achieving a straight line here from the front view. But maybe sometimes what you can see also, if you have some rigs like that, you always can create a straight line, and I really recommend it to you. If you can ask your modeler to do it, this will be always better. Okay, so now we can go to our top view and we will do the same concept, but now I don't want to have a straight line from here to here. I will want to achieve a straight line from the elbow joint to the palm joint. So once again, just create a linear curve. Okay, and here in this case it's look like I will need to micro zoom to see a difference, and I will need to snap the Z value. So I will go to the center pivot, select my Z value, and middle mouse click on the curve, and this one also will be really micro zoom. Select the axis, middle mouse. Okay, so now no need this curve anymore. Okay, so next step, and we don't need to forget it, would be to display our local rotation axis, because I move the joint same as just a little. Here we can see then the x-axis to me right now seems a bit off of the axis of the joint, so we need to bring back them together. So for that, let's try to use the orient joint inside Maya to see what kind of result now I can do. Sometimes will give you some error, but the important is to be sure. You see now my x-axis here look good, here look good, my z is facing here in front of my character, so here is what I want to achieve for this production. So I'm okay with this joint. I will hide the local rotation axis and start to create. So as you can see, we want to achieve IK to FK switching. So we will use a 3-mode joint, if I can say. So what I want to do here is from that point is duplicate. I will go and observe my duplicate option first. Okay, so if you have basic setting, the only thing you can change is parent it to the world automatically. So duplicate special, let's go. Okay, so now we'll try to re-identify what I want. So here this first joint that I create will be a IK joint. So I will go to search and replace, and I will replace the left underscore to less. I can start to do the FK controller first, so I can apply, remove my one. Can also now duplicate that one, or just duplicate that one again, and I will create IK. Oops, and forget to duplicate first. Okay, so this guy. Okay, and unparent it. Okay, so now we'll have three branch of joint. So for a moment, we will start to focus on the IK controller first. So I will hide my FK and my normal joint. So when I would say normal joint, is the joint it will receive the smooth bind. Okay. So I will need to have a controller first. check my snap-on curve. It will be a bit better. Okay. Okay, so this is my controller. Will freeze transform. You see I have some stupid history right here, so no need this history. I'll clear it right now. Name my object. So left arm. Okay, so here my controller is renamed. So it's time to start to create IK. So for people who don't know, who forget, here we want to use a RP solver and use a sticky. But I will not draw my joint from the shoulder to the wrist joint, because we know then when we start to do that, I will bend this joint here, and it's totally abnormal for a human to bend like that. So I'll not create it like that. What I will do is create a IK from the shoulder to the forearm joint. See, when I do that, it only kind of do a rotation plane for only two joints, and it's what I want to achieve. But I still want to control from the wrist position. So what I will do now, go to modify evaluate node, and I will ignore all node. So you see, you will ignore IK solver, constraint expression, particle, etc. So now it will let me move my center pivot of my IK. Okay, so at least now my IK will be here, but it still not respond really. So what you need to know also is when you create a IK, you will also create a effector at the ending position of the original IK. So we need to move also that guy in center pivot to our new position, so we can see the line of the IK move away. So now I'm set up, so I can continue to evaluate all. So now we'll have a workable IK here and still be able to rotate from the forearm position. Okay, so to maybe we can start to name our thing. So this guy will be the left IK arm. I copy the name right now. Okay, and I also want to create a new IK. This time should be a SC solver and non-sticky from the wrist joint to the palm joint. Okay, so we would rename it, and this guy would be Ken. So first of all, I would group this new IK on himself, replace the center pivot, and okay, so we'll be able to rotate from that point. Now it's quite easy. What I need to do, I want to control these two IK with this controller. So with my left arm control and my left IK arm, what I will want to do is create a point constraint. Okay, be sure that all axis is there and maintain offset. Okay, so now I'm able to translate but cannot rotate. So we'll do the same thing, select my controller and select this new left IK N group. And now I will use a parent constraint. Okay, so basic, reset, maintain offset. Okay, so now what I will have, I can be able to translate and also rotate. Okay, but like what we know, and when we rotate our arm in X, something like that, the rotation go a bit higher from that point. Now what I need to do is just create a special constraint with this joint. So select my object who will control, the joint who's control, go to constraint orient. I will still use maintain offset, but now I will only want to affect the X in my case, I want to affect the X rotation. So now you can see that I can rotate from the forearm point of view, and it will try to compensate to maintain rotation. Okay, so let's do some clean job. What I will do here is just group all this new stuff together and call it left arm. Okay, maybe now it can be also a good time to, we don't really need our IK anymore, so I can hide them and key selected them so they will not come back somewhere. We don't need to see them. Okay, so now I'm done with the IK system, if we can see. But now what we want to achieve is kind of blending between our three joint here, this joint, this joint, and this joint. And so we'll bring back these two joints and start to show you. I will just move, for example, no, I cannot move. We need to let it like that. What I will do is open all the ER key. So what I want to do, this joint is the one who will receive a smooth skin, smooth bind. So I want to control this guy along with these two guys. So what I will do, I'll start with the FK shoulder. So select the FK shoulder, the normal shoulder, and we will use a constraint orient. Be sure that you're constraining all axes. So same thing, elbow, elbow, forearm, forearm, wrist, wrist, apply. Okay, so all my FK joint are done. Now we'll tell him that okay, my normal joint will be controlled also by the IK shoulder joint. So shoulder to shoulder. See, now I start to apply two constraints on one node. So elbow to elbow, forearm, forearm, wrist to wrist, and we don't need a palm. Okay, so now to demonstrate what's happened here, is what I can do. Okay, so here we can see definitively this is my IK joint. Here should be my FK joint. So here is the joint who will receive the bind skin at the end. So we can see now this joint here is the joint who's constrained now. So right now this joint don't know where to go because it's constrained by two other joint. It's controlled by two other joint. So if I bring this thing back to 0, here. Okay, what we want to do is to set some driving key to give him to create the behavior of morphing, if I can say. So I will create a new controller. We'll just use a linear curve and do something like that. So we'll snap on the grid. So this will be my switcher. So just name it right now. So left arm switch. Okay, so we'll snap him. We want to have the center pivot of the subject right on the wrist joint, but I can just move back my maybe a bit bigger on the thing. Okay, so freeze transform. Okay, so let's create some attribute for him. So here, already pre-made script for you. Here, what he will do, he will just add some attribute for you to this guy. We know this guy. We don't want to animate the translation, rotation, scaling. This guy is just there to create some specific attribute for our rig. So let's just select the object, run the script. So here we go, we have 3 new attributes. So for the moment, the attribute to concern us would be the fk to ik. Okay, so fk means 0 and ik would be mean 1. So now let's set some driven key. So fk to ik is my driver, and here who will be my driven object? This for constraint here, because I want to control the effect, how they are constrained. Okay, so load driven object. So let's try to see what's happened if I will move this guy a bit. Okay, now you don't know exactly where to go, but I need to tell him. So when fk 0, I want to control the fk width, not the ik width. So all the ik, put them back to 0. Okay, so you can see now all my joint right here are back to the fk position. Now I just need to set some driving key on my 2 attribute here. So if I repeat, when it's 0, it only affect by fk, not ik. So set a key. Do the same thing for my 4 constraint. But when it's now on ik, I will reverse the order here. So the 1 became 0 and the 0 became 1. You can already start to see some change. So we'll do that right now for all my 4 joint. And set some keyframe again, so I can just be double check. So when it's 1 ik, it's ik, right? Okay, so set key. Oops. So that's it. We can now scroll our controller and we have a switching. Okay, but to achieve just better deformation, suggest you to you can select all the constraint here and go to the interpolation type and put it to shortest. So the interpolation between the blending will be just a bit more accurate. Okay, so we can return this to 0. Okay, and start to close. Okay, so now what's happened is we can say our IK system is definitively done. So I will hide this joint also, and I don't need the clavicle right now also. And okay, this guy for the moment, what we can do now, because this guy will be important to follow, right? We'll just unhide my 2 joints. Sorry. You see, so now if I have my IK here and some FK here, this guy, right, should follow the joint to help me to know where I'm going. So just undo. Okay, so that guy I will constrain it to, if I open this guy, the wrist joint. So this one is the controller, this one is the control object. So go to constraint, just have a basic parent constraint. So now whatever happened, who is in charge? You see now it's probably the FK who is in charge. We will always follow the joint itself. Okay, and just to clean also, our left arm group here, node, is just there to regroup all together. Okay, so now we are ready. We'll hide this group also. Just try to focus on the FK shoulder, FK joint. So we want to create some controller to control our joint. So create a new circle object. Okay, delete history, stupid history, we don't need it. And so we can see now the main problem is our controller will not face the same angle as our joint. Okay, I can just create some simple constraint and this will work, but it's not that good. So what I will do is duplicate my object. And so this is the tree joint I want to control, so I will name it left wrist control. Okay, and free transform just to show you. Okay, so see here, it's not that bad. In fact, just it's little difference, but it's enough sometimes to don't create some good deformation. Here is quite good, but it's still not good. So here our main problem is here. But okay, so now I'll show you how to absorb the value of this guy and pass it to this guy, so this guy will be truly aligned now to the joint. So how we do that, we just select the control and parent it to the joint itself. So see, when we do that, not big deal. The only thing that's happen is our controller takes some value from the parent, who is the joint. Okay, it's not good at all. But when I group this controller, if I repeat from here, see, select my controller and I group it on himself, Control G, so it starts to be purely aligned to it. So I will do the same thing for all my three controller. You see, small difference, and not that much difference, but can be important. Okay, so now I have this three new group, but it's still my controller. I want to have a zero halt controller, right? Because I don't want him to explode my rig like that. So to do that, what I will do is select my three new group, freeze transformation, and now if I try to show you right here, okay, select the controller, it's 0, select the group, it's 0. But when I will start to unparent this group, not the controller, the group itself absorb a certain translation and rotation sometime, but the controller itself stay to 0. So that's the important to remember here. How to do it is like that. So we'll just pass a name to this guy and add the notion group. Okay, so now in the logical order, the parent, the wrist control group will be children of the control, not the group, the control parent. Now this elbow control group will be children of shoulder control, and this guy I will group it on himself and call it left arm FK control, and just maybe reposition the center pivot here to be a bit more appropriate. Okay, so now I have some controller are perfectly aligned with my joint. Okay, so now next step is quite easy. What I want to do is control each of these joint with this controller. So select the controller, select the joint I want to affect. Okay, but here this one, we'll start with this one. So this guy will control that joint. It's quite clear. So constraint, orient, be sure control all the axes. Same thing for this guy and this guy. But this will be just a bit tricky because here with this joint I want to also affect this guy. So select this guy and this guy, and I want to orient constraint them only in rotation in X. guy with this joint, I will do the opposite. I will want to just constrain the Y and the Z channel. So now I will be able to rotate from that point and that point. So now we are almost done. Just parent this left arm FK controller under left arm for the moment, and maybe we can start to show our joint. And this one. Okay, so now when I bring back all the visibility to all this object on, it's a bit confusing. I don't know what is what. So that guy here already have some FK visibility. So let's use the connection editor. So the FK visibility channel here will control the FK control visibility. Okay, and the IK visibility will control that guy here. So reload and okay, so now you just need to decide what you want your user start to use. So I will say then it's better to use FK by default. So I will reactivate the FK visibility by default. To put another thing here, you see, in fact now anymore we don't need to see all the rest of my joint. So what I can do is my two joint, the FK and IK joint, at frame 1 I will hide them and key selected the value. So we'll just have my result joint. Okay, I think I will want probably to achieve would be a controller for my shoulder. So let's create freeze transform, delete history. Okay, so what I want to do here is to create on right here. My center pivot is on the joint, but my controller can be outside. So I want this controller control that joint. So just use that parent constraint. Okay, so this one, left arm control. No, sorry. Left clavicle control. I will group this left clavicle again. Group, remove the center pivot. Oops. And use the same name, but with group at the end. Okay, so this will help us to reparent all together at the end. Okay, so if I bring back my old joint just to show you, if I start to rotate my shoulder, see my two other joints don't follow. So just to avoid this, the two shoulder go back under my normal joint. So when now I control all, see all my joint will follow. Here we can see that is the joint with IK, and probably have some FK joint and my normal joint are all over one because I'm in FK mode now. Okay, so this back to 0. If I scroll down, my object will disappear. Okay, so now we just need to know how we want to control this with the rest of our rig. So easily I can start to reparent my finger. So the thumb became children of the wrist joint, and how our other joint children of the palm joint. Okay, so when we do that, you can start to see, okay, sorry, my clavicle joint became children of the spline hand. So when we do that, we realize that all became children of the root joint under the skeleton node. Okay, so same thing here. What I can do, we know then we have this shoulder control, right? We will control the rotation mainly of our, and we will not use translation because we don't constrain them for this. So what I will do is this guy that I call FK control became constraint on that guy. So this guy constraint that guy. So constraint parent sure option is okay. So when I will control now the clavicle, this will follow correct. And now what I want to do is when I move my body, all this FK system is following. So what I do, select this guy, and you remember I group the clavicle group. I will not use the controller. Controller is for the animator to animate, so we'll use the control group. So the torso control and the clavicle control group, constraint parent. So now we'll have the normal behavior that I'm expecting. Okay, so just to clear this, what I will want to do right now is my left arm and this just parent then under control. So I have one folder with all my icon control and one node with all my joint information. So now it will be just to slowly lock and hide some attribute. So we know then all this guy here, we definitively just want to use the rotation. So I can lock and hide selected them. This guy, I don't need this attribute. Sorry, lock and hide. This guy, okay, I may have want some translation, scaling, don't want. So this unlock, lock and hide. But definitively, I recommend to use rotation. It's not a transferable. It's not that good, but I will let it here now. Okay, so one thing we forget here, if I return to the IK, okay, if I return to the IK mode, and we will be able to control from the hand point of view. We still be able to control from the top view, but we forget how to control the elbow. So once again, it's quite easy. We'll return to my stance pose, and on that object, see, it's a good moment here also to maybe lock and hide this. And let's see my visibility if still working correct. Yeah, still working okay. So on that controller, we'll have an attribute called elbow control. Let him maybe like minus 100. I think it's really a good maximum, and 0. You can change it later if you think that you don't have enough control. So we'll use the connection editor. So what I want to connect this elbow control with, you see my IK here. I hide it maybe a bit too earlier, but it's quite easy to retrieve because it's all grouped under left arm, and here I have left IK arm. So what I want to control, the twist of this IK. So I'll go find the twist attribute and connect elbow control to twist. So now we'll be able to position our character and influence the elbow angle. so it's a good time to start to clear. So translation, we will not use translation that much, so what we suggest here, lock and hide selected. This one, see, don't follow. So on my controller here, I don't want to use translation and scaling. This guy only control the, oh, it's not done yet. Okay. So here, this guy will only have some rotation. So what I need to do right here, I want to control the rotation of that joint, so we'll do a constraint orient it all. So this guy will control the orient of my leg, and this guy and my root joint constraint parent. And just that guy, we don't need the scaling on him. Be that guy also, we don't need scaling and visibility. This guy is already done. Yeah, so here we have a half rig